Balancing of cash book. So now coming to the cash book, we already discussed that when coming to the cash book we are going to apply the real account rule here. So now coming to the real account rule, debit what comes in and credit what goes out, and even we can take it as whatever receipts we have we are going to take in the debit side, and whatever payments we have we are going to take in the credit side. So here every time on the left side all transactions relating to the cash receipt will be debited, and on the right hand side all transactions relating to the cash payments will be credited, and it will be debited and credited according to the date wise. When a cash book is maintained, a separate cash book is not required in the ledger. The cash book is balanced in the same way as the account in the ledger, but it may be noted that in the case of cash book there will be always excess in the debit balance compared to the credit balance, because the cash payment never exceed cash receipts and cash in hand at the beginning of the period. So let us take one small illustration here and we'll see that how to balance the cash book. So here we have a question: from the following transaction made by Kunika traders, for this we have to prepare a single column cash book. So here we have a particular question for which we have to prepare a single column cash book. So let us take the table first. The heading will be cash book in the books of Kunika traders. So here the format will be date, particulars, ledger folio, amount, again date, particulars, ledger folio, amount. So in the left hand side we are going to record DR, and in the right hand side CR. So coming to the first entry, we have on September 1st 2005 cash in hand 40,000. So coming to the cash in hand, it is nothing but a opening balance which we have in the hands of the organization, so which will be shown in the debit side. So in the debit side the date will be September 1, to balance brought down in the amount column 40,000. Second transaction we have on September 2nd. So here coming to the second transaction, we have deposited in bank 16,000. So here what cash we have first, which is 40,000, out of which we are going to deposit it into the bank. So here one side the cash is going outside the organization, another side it will be deposited in the bank account of the company. But the basic point what we are going to consider here is what is coming inside and what is going outside, what is receipt and what is payment. So here deposited in bank in the sense the cash is going outside the organization, which should be taken in the credit side. So let us take date first in the credit side, September 2nd 2005, and the entry will be by bank account in the amount column 16,000. Next transaction we have on September 4th. So the transaction here is received from Puneet in full settlement of claim rupees 12,000 after allowing a discount of rupees 300. So here we are receiving, what we are receiving here is 11,700 from the Puneet. So it is a receipt that should be recorded in the debit side. So the date will be September 4 and the entry will be to Puneet account in the amount column 11,700. Next transaction we have on September 5th, and the transaction here is cash paid to Rukmani in full settlement of claim 6,850. So here we are making a payment for Rukmani. So in the payment in the sense it should be recorded in the credit side. So the date will be September 5 in the credit side and the entry will be by Rukmani account in the amount column 6,850. Next transaction we have on September 6th. So the transaction here is sold goods to Sudhir for cash 14,800. So here when the goods were sold on cash, the entry will be considered as sales, but when the particular trader's name is given, at that time if the entry is not in the cash, we are not going to consider it as a sales, it will be considered by the name of the trader. But here both things have given in the question. So it was a sale to the Sudhir and it was received in cash. So here the sale was made to Sudhir, but the payment or what we are payment he is going to do, it is in the terms of cash. So directly we are going to record this entry in the debit side because we are receiving the cash for the particular sale. So the entry will be recorded on the date September 6 in the debit side, and the entry will be to sales account in the amount column 14,800. Then the next transaction we have again on the September 6th. So the entry here is paid quarterly insurance premium on policy for proprietor's wife 2,740. So here again there is a payment for insurance premium which will be recorded in the credit side. So the date will be September 6 and the entry will be by insurance premium in the amount column 2,740. Then the next transaction we have purchased office furniture on September 7 for rupees 8,000. So here we are purchasing a office furniture. One side furniture might be entering into the organization, for the same the payment was made. So this will be recorded again in the credit side. The date will be September 7 by furniture account in the amount column 8,000. Next transaction we have on September 7 again paid cartage 120. So cartage is an expenses, again there was a payment. So in the credit side the date will be September 7 and the entry will be by cartage in the amount column 120. Then the next transaction we have on September 10 where the transaction is paid to Kamal 6,800 after allowing a discount of rupees 200. What discount we are allowing here, it is secondary, but we are going to consider that what was the payment made. That will be very important here because we are recording only the receipts and we are recording only the payments. So since it is a payment, this will be recorded in the credit side. So the date will be in the credit side September 10 and the entry will be by Kamal account in the amount column 6,800. And the next transaction we have on September 11 where the transaction is received from Gurmeet 14,500 after allowing a discount of rupees 500. So what we are receiving here is important, which is 14,500, which is nothing but a receipt. This will be recorded in the debit side and the date will be September 11 and the entry will be to Gurmeet account in the amount column 14,500. Next transaction we have on September 12, amount withdrawn for household use 5,000. So here what was the amount withdrawn? It is nothing but the cash is going outside the organization, which will be recorded in the credit side. So credit side the date will be September 12 and the entry will be by drawings and the amount will be 5,000. Next transaction we have on September 14th and the entry here is electric bill paid 1,160. Here it is very clear that it is a payment which should be recorded in the credit side. So the date will be September 14th and the entry will be by electric charges in the amount column 1,160. Then the next transaction we have on September 17th and the entry here is goods sold for cash 23,000. So whenever we have a sale, we will be receiving the cash which will be recorded in the debit side. So the date will be September 17th to sales account in the amount column 23,000. Next transaction we have on September 21st and the entry here is bought goods from Kamal on cash basis. So we are going to purchase the goods from Kamal on the cash basis, which is nothing but a purchase, which is for 17,000. So this entry will be recorded in the credit side and the date will be September 21st and the entry will be by purchases account and in the amount column 17,000. Next transaction we have on September 24th where the transaction is paid telephone charges 2,300. So it is very clear here, it is a payment which should be recorded in the credit side. So the date will be in the credit side September 24th and the entry will be by telephone charges and in the amount column 2,300. Next entry we have on September 26th, and the entry here is paid postal charges 520. So here again postal charges are nothing but the expenses where we are going to make the payment. Again this will be recorded in the credit side, and the date will be September 26th, and the entry will be by postal charges in the amount column 520. And the next transaction we have on September 28, where the transaction is paid monthly rent 4,200. So again it is very clear that the rent was paid, which is payment. Again this should be recorded in the credit side, and the date will be September 28, and the entry will be by rent in the amount column 4,200. Next transaction we have on September 29th, where the transaction is paid monthly wages and salary 8,250. Again there is a payment that should be recorded in the credit side. So the date will be September 29th, and the entry will be by wages and salary in the amount column 8,250. The next transaction we have on September 29th, where the transaction is bought goods for cash 11,000. So again we are making a purchase for which we have to make the payment. So this will be again recorded in the credit side. So again the date will be September 29th, and the entry will be by purchases in the amount column 11,000. And the last transaction we have on September 30th, where sold goods for cash 15,600. So whenever we have a sale, we are going to receive the cash, which is nothing but receipt, which should be recorded in the debit side. So the date will be September 30th, and the entry will be to sales account in the amount column 15,600. So now once we have posted all the entries to the cash account, so now we have to balance the entries here. So what is the total receipt we have, and what is the total payments we have? This we have to balance. So now when coming to the debit side, we have excess total in the debit side. Okay, if we take the total of debit side, we will be getting 1,19,600. So now the same total have to be taken in the credit side in the same line, 1,19,600. So now from this total we are going to deduct all the payments which we have made. If we deduct all the payments, the balance will be 27,960. This should be written above the total of the credit side, 27,960, and this will be taken on the closing date of this particular month, where September 30th, and the entry will be by balance carried down. So again the same balance have to be brought down to the next month. So this will be taken again in the debit side after the total, where 1st October 2005 to balance brought down, and the balance will be 27,960. So let me repeat once again here, what is the concept of balancing is whatever receipts we have recorded in the debit side, in the sense what is the cash we are receiving, and out of this cash what payments we are going to make, that was recorded in the credit side. So at the end we are going to see that what cash we have, out of that what payments we have made, and what is the cash left over with the organization. So in this particular illustration, the leftover cash with the organization is 27,960. Let us take one more illustration where we have to prepare a double column cash book. So now we have the following transactions for which we have to prepare a double column cash book. So now coming to double column cash book, what is the difference between the single column and the double column here? When coming to the single column, we are going to consider all the cash as well as bank transaction in only one amount column. But coming to double column cash book, we are going to show separately cash amount column and separately a bank amount column. So here the format will be date, particulars, cash amount and bank amount, then again date, particulars, cash amount and bank amount. So again after particulars we can add ledger folio. If we don't have any ledger folio amount, then we can ignore this. So the format will be date, particulars, cash amount, bank amount, again date, particulars, cash amount, bank amount. Again in the left hand side DR and in the right hand side CR, and the heading of the table is double column cash book. So here again the real account rule applies, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, if it is coming in the terms of cash, the amount will be recorded in the cash amount column. If it is coming through bank, and the amount will be recorded in the bank amount column. Same, again coming to the opposite side, if the cash is going outside in terms of cash, it will be recorded in the cash amount column. If it is going through bank, it will be recorded in the bank amount column. So let us take the transactions and we'll start posting to the ledger account, which is double column cash book. So the first transaction we have on August 1st, 2005, cash balance 15,000 and bank balance 10,000, which is nothing but what we have with the us. So that is what the balance brought down. So this will be taken in the debit side and the date will be 2005 August 1st. To balance brought down, in the cash amount column 15,000 and in the bank amount column 10,000. So next transaction we have on August 3rd, paid insurance premium by check 4,200, which is a payment which should be recorded in the credit side, but it is paid through check. So amount should be recorded in the bank amount column. So let us take in the credit side, the date will be August 3rd and the entry will be by insurance premium, and in the amount bank amount column 4,200. Next transaction we have on August 8, cash sales 22,000 and allowed discount of rupees 750. Whatever discount is allowed, it doesn't matter here because we are going to record only the receipts and only the payments. So when there is a cash sales, we are going to receive the cash. So it is nothing but the receipt, which should be recorded in the debit side, and the entry will be recorded on the date August 8 and the entry will be to sales account, and the amount will be recorded in the cash amount column 22,000. And the next transaction we have on August 9th, and the transaction here is cash deposited in bank 15,000. So here when coming to the cash deposited in bank, this entry will be called as contra entry. Contra entry in the sense, on the same date we are going to record two entries, one in the debit side, another in the credit side. What is the transaction here? When we are depositing 15,000 in the bank, so now the cash will be deducted. Another side, what bank balance we have, it should be added. So now debit side the bank balance will be increased, and in the credit side bank balance, cash balance will be considered in the credit side, so the cash should be decreased. So now the entry is on September 9. So first we are going to deposit it into the bank, so bank amount will be added. So let us take in the debit side, the date will be August 9 and the entry will be to cash account, in the sense the cash was added to the bank, to cash, and in the bank amount column 15,000. Same coming to the credit side on the same date August 9 and the entry will be by bank, and in the cash amount column 15,000, which means the cash was deposited into the bank. So whenever we have contra entry, for that we are going to specify the alphabet C, which denotes that it is a contra entry. For both the entries we have to show C in the debit side for the entry on the August 9, and again on the credit side entry on the August 9, the C will be shown here. And the next transaction we have on August 10th, and the transaction here is telephone bill paid by check 2,300. So again this is a payment which should be recorded in the credit side. So let us take in the credit side, the date will be August 10 and the entry will be by telephone charges, and the amount will be recorded in the bank amount column because it is paid by check. So in the bank amount column 2,300. Next we have entry on August 14, where the entry is withdrawn from bank for personal use 6,000. So here the amount was withdrawn from bank and it should be recorded in the credit side. So now the entry will be on August 14th by drawings account, and in the bank amount column we are going to deduct, or we are going to record in the bank amount column 6,000. And the next entry we have on August 16, withdrawn from bank for office use, and the amount is 14,500. So here what amount we are withdrawing from bank for office use, that will be withdrawn from the bank, again it will be considered in the cash, because the cash was withdrawn from bank and it is added to the cash of the organization. So again this entry will be having a contra entry for which we have to record in both the side. So this entry is on August 16th. So we are withdrawing a cash from the bank, so cash will be added first. So let us take the entry for this in the debit side, date August 16, and an entry will be to bank account in the cash amount column 14,500. Again coming to the opposite side on the same date August 16th, and the entry will be by cash account and the amount will be considered in the bank amount column 14,500, which means the cash was withdrawn in the debit side. It means that the cash was brought from the bank. So again for this entry we are going to show the alphabet C, which denotes that it is a contra entry. Let us take the next transaction which we have on August 20th, where the transaction is received check from John in full and final settlement and deposited on the same day in the bank. So here we are receiving a check and it is deposited into the bank on the same day, where it is a receipt which should be recorded in the debit side. So let us take the date August 20th, and the entry will be to John account and the amount will be considered in the bank amount column 10,700. Let us take the next transaction which we have on August 23rd, where the transaction is received cash from Michael 6,850 and allowed him a discount of rupees 150. So where we are receiving the cash which should be considered in the debit side, and when coming to the discount it is already deducted from the amount, so nowhere it will be shown. So let us take the date in the debit side. The date will be August 23rd and the entry will be to Michael account, and in the bank amount column, so let us take entry in the debit side. The date will be August 23rd and the entry will be to Michael account. Since we are receiving a cash, it should be considered in the cash amount column 6,850. Next transaction we have on August 24th, stationery purchased from cash 1,800. Again it is a payment which is in the terms of cash, which should be recorded in the credit side. So the date will be August 24th and the entry will be by stationery and amount will be recorded in the cash amount column 1,800. Next entry we have on August 25th, cartage paid in cash 350. So again it is a payment which will be recorded in the credit side in the amount cash amount column. So the date will be August 25th by cartage account, or you can consider it as by cartage, and the amount will be in the cash amount column 350. Next transaction we have on August 25th, where the transaction is check received from Kumar 4,500. So now we have received the check but it is not deposited into the bank. So now we will be knowing that we will be getting the cash, since this entry will be recorded in the cash amount column in the debit side. So coming to debit side, the entry will be on August 25th to Kumar account and the amount will be considered in the cash amount column 4,500. Next entry we have on August 28th, cash received from Kumar deposited in bank. So now the entry we have on August 28th, check received from Kumar was deposited in bank 4,500, which means here what check we have received on the August 25th, the same was deposited on August 28th. So here, this entry will be recorded in the debit side because the bank amount should be increased. For this, when it is deposited, what cash amount we have considered, that should be removed here. So now first debit side we are going to record on August 28 and the entry will be to cash account, and in the bank amount column we are going to show that 4,500 was deposited. Again, when it is deposited, what cash we have shown for which the cash check was not deposited, that should be deducted. So on the same date we are going to show in the credit side, the date will be August 28 and the entry will be here by bank account, and in the cash amount column 4,500. And the next transaction we have on August 31st. So the entry here is check deposited on August 28, dishonored and returned by the bank. So now, which was the check we have deposited on August 28 is, which is given by the Kumar, 4,500. The same check was dishonored and returned by the bank. So now, what amount we have added to the bank amount, bank column in the debit side, that same will be deducted in the opposite side. So here the entry will be on August 31st, and the entry will be by Kumar account, and in the amount in the bank amount column 4,500, which means the check was dishonored, since the bank amount what we have in the bank, what we have ordered 4,500, that will be deducted in the opposite side. So the next transaction we have on August 31st, again paid rent by check 4,000. So here again it is a payment which is through bank, which should be recorded in the credit side. So the date will be August 31st by rent, and in the bank amount column 4,000. And the next we have again on the 31st August paid wages to the watchman in cash. So here wages is a payment which is paid in cash 3,000. So again it will be recorded in the credit side August 31st, and the entry will be by wages, and in the cash amount column 3,000. And the last transaction we have again on August 31st, and the entry here is paid cash for postage 220. So again it is a payment which should be recorded in the credit side, and the date will be August 31st, and the entry will be by postage charges, or you can consider it as by postage expenses, in the cash amount column 220. So now once we are done with all the entries, we have to balance this particular cash account. So coming to debit side, when we are taking the total of cash amount and when we are taking the total of bank amount column, we are getting excess when compared to the credit side. So now we have total in the cash amount column 68,250, and in the bank amount column we have 40,200. The same have to be recorded in the credit side in the same line, 68,250 for cash amount column and 40,200 for bank amount column. So now above that, whatever payments we have, we are going to deduct this to find the difference. So when we deduct this, the difference will be for cash amount column 16,980, and coming to bank amount column, the difference will be 4,700. So now this will be on the closing date itself, 31st August, and the entry will be by balance carried down. The amount will be 68,250 and 40,200. Same have to be brought down for the next month, which is 1st September. To balance brought down in the cash amount column 16,980, and in the bank amount column 4,700. This should be recorded after the total, which means that for next month what is the cash balance we have. So the overall concept here is debit side we had receipt and credit side we had payments. So out of receipt, after making the payments, the leftover cash was taken to the next month, out of which we can make some more payments.